Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to connect your train and your train car and put it on the track so it can drive down the track. First you're going to need to open a standard IAM, a new one. Okay, the first thing we need here is the track. So I'm going to click place, go down here, pick up the straight track, open. Alright, now this I need to flip over because I want it sitting the correct way. This is going to be the item that I'm going to have as my ground. Okay. I'm going to set this as my home view. And I'm going to put it at a fit to view because I'm getting ready to make it longer. Okay, so instead of putting these, like each track piece constraining each one separately, I know it's going to be in a straight line and I want them all to be like one piece. So what I'm going to do instead of constraining them is I'm going to pattern them. Anytime you have more than one item and you're going to have it like in a straight line or maybe even in a row next to each other, like if you're putting in several chairs into an assembly, you would use the pattern. You can either do it circular or straight, which for me, I want it to be straight. So I pick the component and then I'm going to pick the direction. Okay, pick the direction. And of course I can go either way with this, whichever way I want it. Okay. This is how many I want it to be. As it says, it can go up to 2,000. I really only need anywhere from 4 to 6. When we start driving the train down the track, you'll see what I mean on that. I'm going to go ahead and make it 6. You can do anywhere from 4 to 6. Okay. Now, the distance of each of these pieces of track is 12 inches. So I'm going to change this to 12 to show that I need 12 inches between each one from the beginning to the beginning of the next one. And I'm going to click OK. All right, so now if I hit home, it's going to fit that to view. All right, so I'm ready to put the trains on it. As you can see how long this is, right, and why I said you don't want any more than 6. And of course later, if you change your mind and you wanted to change the number you had, just right click and you could edit it. All right, but I'm good with what I have. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Save as. And I'm going to make this the complete train assembly. Right? You can name yours whatever as long as it makes sense because you want to put the whole train on it and ready to drive. So that's why I say complete train assembly. I'm going to click save. All right, so the first thing I'm going to put on there is my assembled train. But first I want you to go to your train assembly. So open it. I already have mine open, but you can pause and open yours. Okay, so right now when I move my linkage arm, right, these kind of go together, but the other side doesn't. Right? And I want it when it travels down the train track, when this one's down, I want this one to be up. So I'm going to have to assemble, or I'm going to have to constrain these wheels so that the wheels move at the same time. But to do that, I'm going to need a plane on my wheels. So click on the wheel, right click, and open it. Right, so I'm going to need a plane somewhere down the middle of this. Right, so I'm going to put an axis on here. And then I'm going to put a plane on that axis. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's 90 degrees or 0 or whatever, but go ahead and accept that. I'm going to save it so that now I can use that plane. Click save. All right, now I'm going to go back to my train assembly. and now I have a plane on it. I'm going to click Constrain, and I would like when this one moves, I want this one to move at the same time. So I click on here, Angle. I'm going to pick this first one, the directed angle. And so when this plane and this plane, I want them to move together. And I'm going to leave it at 0 degrees. Okay, click Apply. Okay, now let me show you what happens. So now when one moves, the other one's going to move at the same speed. Okay. All right, so when this wheel is up, I want this one to be down. Okay. I want this one to be down. So now I'm going to click Constrain, Angle, right, the directed angle. And so when this plane is moving, right, I want this one to be moving as well. Okay, so at 0 degrees, see this one's down and that one's down. So let's change this to 180. All right, so now when this one's up, this one's down. Let me go ahead and click Apply. Okay, so now when this one moves, the other one moves. Now the problem I have is when this one moves, but we're just kind of dragging this along. So we need to put that same angle constraint onto the other side, right, where they are at 0, and click Apply. So now when one moves, the other one moves. Okay. Now I need to go and, no, actually we'll put that on the flatbed here in a little bit. I just made a flatbed. You've made an actual train car, but I just made a flatbed because I just wanted it for purpose of explaining it to you. We're going to go ahead and leave the planes on there for now because we're not done using them. Okay, so now I'm ready to put the train engine onto the track. So I'm going to place my train assembly onto my assembly, my complete train assembly. So I'm going to bring it in, right, left click, right click, OK. And I need to place this now onto the track. Now, if this kind of bothers you that it's upside down, remember you can click on the train, you can hit G, and it allows you to turn it around. Or as soon as, here, I'll go ahead and leave it upside down. As soon as you put the first assembly or the first constraint on this assembly, it's going to bring it into the direction you want it. Because when I click Constrain, and I'm going to mate the bottom of this track, or the bottom of this train to the top of this track, it's going to bring it in the direction that I'm wanting it. Now I don't want it, let's kind of like zoom in on here for you. I don't want it actually laying on the track because it would be dragging. So instead I need to put an offset of 0.5. Okay. I'm going to click Apply on this. And if it's not the right height, I can go back and change that constraint. Okay, so now I want to bring this around. So I need to mate this side here with the inside of this track. Okay, so now it's going the direct direction, but don't hit Apply yet because it's dragging along the sides. So my offset, I'm going to put 0.05, and that looks about right. I'm going to apply this. They are not down in the grooves. So I'm going to go back to this train assembly, go to this mate, and I'm going to edit it. So let's make that, instead of 0.5, make it 0.4. 4, 5. Yes, that looks a little bit better. Okay, and then click OK. And so depending on your wills, if maybe I looked at different dimensions, or maybe I made mine a little off, or you made yours a little off, those values might be a little different. Okay. So now, if I play with it a little bit, notice it'll go frontwards and backwards. All right. Let's look at my degrees of freedom on this thing. And good, it still has this 1 degree of freedom where it can move back and forth. And that's what we want, because we're going to want to drive it down the track. Okay. Now, if you'll notice though, when I move it, my wheels aren't moving. I try to move the linkage arm, it doesn't move. The reason why is because I have to go in here and I'm going to right click, and I need to make this flexible. Okay. Now it should, let's go ahead and constrain it a little more, because there's nothing holding it down. So let's go ahead and put a flush constraint. Just to hold it in place. I'm going to flush the back to the back of the track and apply. And it doesn't seem to want to move. Yep, there we go. I just grabbed a hold of the wheel instead this time, and it's moving. So good. So we've got this moving now. So the next constraint that we need to do is when this moves straight, we want the wheels to rotate. Okay, so to constrain that, we're going to use what's called a motion constraint. So click on motion. We've got a straight. This right here means it's a rotation translation. It means when one rotates, you're going down like a straight path. This is if you've got 2 circles rotating. Instead, we just have a straight path and a circle. So we want this circle, right? I'm clicking the outside of the wheel to go straight down. Let me make sure it's going the correct direction. There we go. Notice how I've got an arrow going forward. And click on that one. So I clicked on the wheel, and I clicked on until I clicked on an edge until I got that arrow the correct direction. All right. Now the distance. This wheel has a diameter of 2.25, or approximately 2.25. Now if I want the circumference, so when a wheel goes down the track, when it goes a full rotation, right, I want to travel the circumference. So if, say right here, if it travels all the way down the track, a full rotation, then that is the circumference of that wheel. So to find a circumference, it's diameter times pi. So the diameter is 2.25 times 3.14. Okay, and so I'm going to apply that. So now I've got this flush on the back of it, right? I've got this rotation, and it should work. Of course, let's make sure. All right, so I'm going to go to this flush, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go down to drive constraint. And you can drive any constraint you want, right? I'm going to click drive constraint. And I'm going to tell it to go, let's see, these things are about 12 inches. So 12 times, say, 4. All right, so let's just go down like 4 of them. So 48 inches. I'm going to push play. All right, it's going awfully fast. I can't really watch it very well. So let's click the little arrow here. Just like anything else, you see a little arrow. It's like, ooh, what's behind that curtain? What else can it do? All right, so we want to change this number. I think it's the larger it is, the slower it goes. So let's see. No, definitely not. Must be the smaller, the slower it goes. So 0.1. All right, so let's kind of zoom in there. Looks like it's driving pretty good. They're both going opposite. All right, my computer's running a little slow today, so you can tell it's kind of a little jerky, but so obviously I want it to go a little bit faster than that. So I am going to change this to maybe 0.25. Oops. Of course I hit enter, that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to click drive constraint again. Make that 0.25 and then we push play. That's a better speed. Now if I want it to go all the way to the end, I would say 6 times 12 is 36. Wait, let me try that again. 72. Keep an eye on me. 72. And I'm going to click. Oh, wait. Yeah. So maybe a little shorter. My math might be a little off. But going down. Well, of course, I didn't count in the distance of my actual train. I'll just change this to like 65. Okay, push play. All right, so you get the point. So I'm going to click cancel. And I'm going to rename this flush because later on, wonder how that, okay. Oh, I know. It's not on the stack. It's on the train itself. It's on the assembly. Okay, because later on, when I come back, I want to remember which one it was I was driving. Because a few months down the line, you're showing it off to a friend or something like that, and you're like, which flush or which constraint? You're not going to know. So we're going to double click on this. I double clicked on the name itself, and it lets me change the name of it. And I'm going to change that to drive train. Hit enter. So now I know which one that I'm going to be changing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here, and I'm going to do another video where we're using this same assembly, and you're putting your train car on it. And I wanted to do this so that the video wasn't quite so long, just in case it has a long time to load it up. Okay, so I'll be right back on another video.